and welcome back, everyone. I know there's been a bit of a pause in my live streams, but hey, a lot of things have changed, starting with different wall in a different building, and I have a visiting schedule with my kids. So let's just say I had like a busy 2 months. On that note, let's start with, of course, and I can put it on screen as well. Quote of the day: living isn't failure. Staying silent in pain is. Might work for some or it might not. The main idea is sometimes we confuse endurance with strength, but real strength is knowing when enough is enough and choosing yourself instead of staying stuck just to keep the peace. Um, a lot of people just stay in shit relationships and it basically ends up doing more bad than good, especially when you have kids involved, because kids can feel the tension and all of that. Okay, and yesterday a friend of mine pissed me off. Okay, not really, but yeah. He was telling me about his girl, the little girl who was like, oh, she's so independent and she's like a diva and she chooses 5 outfits before she goes to kindergarten and all of this crap. I was like, okay, teaching her to be a woman. Good for you, mate. And now he's gonna have a boy. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, I'm gonna wait for like trips with the kid, going camping and all of that. So, yeah, let's see. With the boy, you need to teach him how to be the head of the family. It's like, bro, I didn't hear you saying that you're teaching your girl to be as like the supporting wife or anything like that, right? You use it's like independent woman and all of that. Why are you teaching him to be the head of the family? Teach him to be an independent person, human, man, whatever, and that's it. It's like apply the same principles. Discrimination. Pissed off. Yeah. Thought I should share, and I'm curious what you guys think. And that being said, today we're gonna be reacting to the amazing John Griffin. And let me put it on screen as well. Let's like his video because the guy works a lot and he has amazing dogs and the scenery is freaking perfect. So this video is why men stay in bad marriages and me after getting out of a 10 year 10 years of relationship, a decade of relationship. I want to see exactly what he says. Maybe I get enlightened, you never know. I do hope that you guys have sound as well.
Since I've started coaching men on relationships, I've spoken to probably 50 or 60 guys just here in the last 6 months. And a large percentage of them are with women who clearly do not want to be with them. The relationship is over. It's been over for a long time. They've even been told by the woman that she doesn't want to be with them. And she's backed that up with some really negative behaviors. I mean, she's been nasty. Yet a lot of these guys, a large percentage of them, still want to be with her. They still love her. They still want to find a way to make it work. This is an interesting phenomenon. And I'm not sure I understand it fully, but I figured it'd be a really good topic for conversation.
I suppose upbringing makes like a lot of impact on it as well. So it's like, oh, like I said, we teach our kids, our boys, oh, you need to be the head of the family at some point. You're gonna lead that family. You're gonna la. And after that, you hear stories with the captain sings with the ship and all of that bullshit. So it's like that inner pressure. Plus, especially when you have kids, I think that was so. It's like love for the person next to you, attachment and whatever. Plus, if you have kids as well, it's like leaving your kids and your family. All of them combined. When things start to go to shit and the relationship is not the way it's supposed to, I still think that it's better to leave. I think I overstayed my visit in that relationship, but I'm hoping I'm gonna learn for the next ones.
Are we addicted to women, or are we just afraid of being alone?
Second one,
That's what I want to
probably.
talk about today. I have been in a relationship with a girl or a woman going back to the age of 14 almost continuously. Seldom was there a time when I would go more than a few months without having some kind of a relationship. After my son was born, I think it went maybe a year and a half. But I was still, actually, I think I still had dates. I wasn't completely single all the way. So that's up until my divorce. That's like 40 plus years of having a female in your life almost round the clock, almost continuously. If I broke up with a girl or we broke up for whatever reason, my next thought was, okay, I've got to get a new girlfriend. Automatically.
Yeah, with this I don't agree. And I know a lot of people who do that. I have close friends that actually do that. And I've done that, unfortunately, but that was in my teenage years when I was jumping from one to another because it was there, it was just happening. But as I grew older, I realized like, no, I need some time for myself. I need to figure out what happened. Where did the screw up come from? Because it's definitely is not going to be all of the problems are coming from the other side. Def- just at least in my case, is like I can't say, oh, I'm innocent. No way. So I need to figure out some shit out and enjoy some time by myself. And it's not necessarily about like going on all of the dating apps. Actually, I never had an account on those. Not planning yet though. So it's just getting to know yourself again, or finding yourself again, depending on how shit the relationship was, especially at the end. And I get it. I didn't know why. I know I don't have light here, but still, the comments on stage go over my face. So probably we're gonna change this in the future. Okay. StreamYard did some upgrades since I've been here. Cool.
I would just start immediately seeking out a new girl, no matter what. This was just how things were. And I look back on it now and I wonder, was that healthy? Was that good? I'm not so sure. Good job, Debu. That was quite a jump.
I really need to figure out where he's living.
As young adolescent men, we all have that built-in drive, that torpedo that wants to hone in on a target. And it drives our behaviors for quite a while, for at least a decade, where everything is based around trying to find a woman. Everything in your life is about that. I think that is the natural addiction phase where you just can't seem to get enough. No matter what it is, no matter how many times you have sex, you just can't get enough. It's just like an addiction. And it's one of those weird things where
It's okay, man. We're safe now. They have like AI robots, sex shops in Germany, so it's fine. You can sort out your addiction somehow now, without involving women if you don't want to. Things are changing.
I don't know, it's like you'll do almost anything. You'll give up almost anything. You'll you'll pay almost anything. When you're at that age, say between the ages of like 16 and 25, in that range, you're just driven beyond any natural force to go out.
Bro, I jumped from a moving train to go back to a girl. I think I was like 19. We were living in different cities, and I went to visit her. We finished up our visit, whatever. I left, went with the train going back home. She texted me that she has a surprise, showed me some pictures. I just literally jumped at the first station, like from the moving train, because we already left the station, but it was still going slowly. Just jump from the train, go and hitchhike, grab the ride from the street, and just went back. And like 1 hour and a half, I was already knocking on the door. He's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" "I know, I just missed the train." It's just like it happens. Wow, it's fine, no worries. Dumb shit,
And find a woman.
but fun, good memories.
But as you get older, that natural drive begins to wane just a little bit. And if you're still seeking a woman, say in your 40s or 50s or 60s, for that same reason that you did in your 20s, then you've got to stop and ask yourself, is it really just that natural drive that's doing it? Or is there something else behind it? And I reflected on
Fair
that
point.
after my wife left, because it became really clear that that relationship had reached its end. And my natural reaction was to try to find somebody else, like get on to my next girlfriend. And so I got on the dating apps and I dated a few women. And quite honestly, it was more about laziness than it was anything else. The amount of energy that it was taking to develop relationships with these women just seemed like it just wasn't worth it.
And you have all of your habits already formed. It's like you're in your 40s, 50s. Most of the people that I know single, all of them are saying kind of the same thing. It's yeah, okay, fine. I'll go dating if you want. Do you want me to go dating? I'll go dating, no problem. Uh, but I go to bed at that time. I watch those kind of movies only. I go to drink there and I do that and that's it. And I'm not changing anything. I fart on this side of the bed, whatever. No one wants to make compromises anymore, or it's becoming harder and harder to make compromises. And if you're gonna live with someone else or be in a relationship, there's some things that, yeah, get the point.
You know, I was still emotionally and mentally drained from my marriage. I had all these responsibilities and financial issues. And what it was going to
True.
take to attract and have a relationship with a new woman, swallowing a gnat, was way more than what I was willing to give. So laziness won out on that one. But once I had kind of refound my bearings and I was on my feet again, I went out there looking for another woman. Even in 2023, so this is 25, yeah. So 2023, I went out and I met a number of women and had a relationship with one that went on for a few months. And it was that relationship, and I've made a video about her. I'll put a link at the end, that really convinced me that I did not need to have a relationship anymore. That it was my fear that was driving me, my fear of being alone that was driving me. Because during that 5-year spell, there were months at a time when I was completely on my own and completely happy and satisfied and, you know, had a great life. After having enough time on my own for stretches of time and feeling a sense of peace in my life on my own was kind of a unique experience. I didn't recognize it when I had it. So then the contrast of being with a woman.
I realized this in the past 2 months. Because I tried to remember when I was the last time that I was like completely and honestly at peace, happy, no regrets. If I'm like going down with a plane right now, do I have anything to worry about or whatever, any kind of regrets, or do I go, it's like Valhalla? It's like it was when I was completely single. And in the first few months of relationship where, yeah, let's not even count those. Uh, After that, everything slowly, it's like over time, over years, it kind of cut chops of me. And it might be my fault. So it's like work in progress for everything and for everyone anyway. Um, but yeah, when I was single or by myself, that's when I felt the most at peace. It was like weird feeling. And I'm not saying that I'm not gonna have any relationship. It's like I didn't even get to his part where he's actually trying to see how it goes. So, but only time will tell.
And all the energy and time and dedication it takes to have that relationship, was in stark contrast to the peace that I was experiencing when I didn't have one. And so now it's been over a year since I've had a relationship with a woman. And it has been one of the most peaceful, happy experiences of my life. Now, I never would have guessed that this is how it would have turned out, because the fear of being on my own, not having a woman in my life, and I don't know where that fear comes from. I haven't been able to identify what it is. Maybe it's an addiction. Maybe it's just a physical addiction of having somebody around you all the time, or just sex. I don't know. But there's something there that.
I think it might be sex as well. But okay, on a side note, on the opposite, it's like, okay, he's been single for a year, and I've been single for a few years, in like continuous years before the previous relationship. Well, so too many words, forget it. But I do know people that have been single for 10 years, 12 years, and yeah, they're happy, they're at peace, they feel lonely. So it's like, if they miss something from the idea of a relationship, is having that companionship. So you have someone to talk to, someone to go to bed with at night, this kind of things. um I'm not sure, maybe in 9 more years we're gonna see another video from Ben, and we're gonna find out if he says the same thing then.
Is drawing me away from my peaceful existence. And I think that's what's going on with most guys. I think that when they're faced with their wife telling them that they don't want to be around them anymore, they have a real tough time letting go. Even though she said, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you, I'm going to take you to court, I'm going to sue you. I mean, why on earth would you want to be with this woman?
That's what I keep asking myself.
Come on,
How
Devo.
did I screw up on that one? Good part is I woke up at some point, so. And I'm not gonna try to speak
What a good dog.
badly about her. As yeah, she's the mom of
It's
my
my
kids, so
theory that life
we
kind
have
of
to show
unfolds in
respect
phases.
as much as
And
we
each
can.
phase or each stage of your life has a purpose. And if you allow one purpose to interfere with another purpose, you're going to experience a lot of conflict, or you're going to have a lot of pain in your life. Transitioning from one purpose or one phase to the other is turbulent. It always is. Any kind of change usually has some kind of turbulence that goes along with it. So when you're young, it's natural and normal to be drawn to women and to want them to be a big part of your life and to dedicate a lot of your energy to attracting them and to getting them into your life. When you get into a marriage and you go into this housekeeper's homemaker kind of world where you're working and you're raising a family and you're creating this this life for yourself, that is another phase. Now, for some people, that phase goes on to the end of their life, where they stay in that relationship and they stay in that frame of mind for the rest of their life. And that's fine. It is. It's fine. And there's nothing.
Yeah, but that apparently happens for what, 40% of them? I need from that 40%, no, 40, 50%. And from those 50%, how many of them are completely unhappy? And like I said, I'm not against the relationships and marriages, just we need to be careful when we're choosing our significant other.
Nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with moving on to the next phase of your life. And if that phase does not require another woman, accept it, understand it, follow your natural rhythms, feel what it feels like to either be with a woman and what that energy is like, or to not be with a woman and what that energy is like, and decide for yourself what feels best. This is like a feedback loop that's designed to give you insights into which direction that you should be going with your own life. And if you are pushing back against it, as I did when my wife left, I think I was clearly entering a phase where it was much more important for me to spend time on my own and to reflect on my life and to spend time out in the woods and do the meditation, hang out with dogs for a while, and to kind of go through an internal growth phase, I guess, reflection on 22 years of marriage and raising kids and all that stuff.
That's the process I'm going through right now. I think it's quite, I don't know, from person to person how long it is. But it's worth having. I really think it's worth having. And just do it for yourself. Um, the moment on, oh, and find activities, man. Now it's easier and easier. Use social media. I'm weird. I know I'm mostly against social media, but you can use it for a lot of crap. So find groups with things, activities that interest you, things that you used to do before, and you think you can still give it a try and see if it works, if you can. And like that, you meet like-minded people. You don't need heavy conversations. You need just to interact with people and get back on your normality.
And I tried to resist it. And every time I did, by going on dates and trying to create new relationships, the discomfort from doing that was so much that it just sort of propelled me back to my default setting, which I feel is my natural stage right now. Now, it may change in the future. I mean, it's entirely possible that it will. But for now, being single and being on my own feels healthy, normal, and natural. And now, this is coming from a guy who has spent, like I said earlier, the vast majority of my life with one woman or another. I mean, since I was a teenager, it was just from one girl to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, until now. And I think if you count them all up, there's like over 50 or 60 different relationships that I had, short and long and all that, that, you know.
My guy's been around, man. He's been walking around. He's been in the trenches. Like, good for him.
Throughout the course of my life. And now having this time in my life to not have a relationship is, it's more than refreshing. It's more like empowering. It's empowering because being healthy and confident and secure on my own, in my own skin at this time in my life is without question the best gift I've ever received. So as you're approaching the end of your relationship and you can feel that transition coming, don't resist it. Don't try to.
Yeah, or especially if you don't see that there's any effort from the other side. So it's like, if there's any effort from the other side, okay, fine, let's try. Especially if you love the person. If you don't even love the person, just, how do they say it in America? Get the fuck out of Dodge. But if you love the person, you have kids, you have a family, and so on, and you see some effort, maybe try. I don't know. Yeah. 99.99% of the crap that I'm gonna say on this channel is just my opinion, my idea, things that I'm telling myself, not necessarily that I'm telling others, and definitely are opinions that might change. Depends on what happens in life. Yeah, if you feel the relationship is going towards the last stage, and you do feel it, it's like constantly every day you're gonna feel it. If you have a discussion and you at least try, and you see there's no response, no good feedback, no follow through, no nothing, just, yeah, embrace it, move on, enjoy life. It is what it is.
Cling on to that relationship when you know rationally and intellectually that that relationship is over and it's time for you to move on, yet emotionally you feel yourself clinging to it. That's an indication that you're pushing back against the natural tide. You know, I remember as a kid playing in the surf in Hawaii, and if you stand in the breakers, you're going to get your ass knocked down and dragged up on the beach. But if you ride the wave, it's a lot of fun. And trust me, it's much better to ride the wave in life than it is to stand in the breakers and get knocked on your ass. So as you're thinking about your relationship with your wife and all the emotions that you have around this split, try to see it from the perspective of just moving from one phase to another. And this phase in your life of being a married man, maybe with a family, has just come to an end. And it's time for you to move on to whatever comes next. And I promise you, what comes next is going to be like riding that wave into the beach. It's going to be smooth, it's going to be fun, and you're going to enjoy it. Now, it's going to be a little turbulent.
Okay, baby. Yeah, fine. After a while of turbulence, I think that's what he was saying, starting to say now, because I was like, wait. I'm not seeing the clouds of joy anytime soon coming. It's like I'm looking for bubble gum clouds and all of that, but nothing is going on yet.
Feeling
Yeah.
it first. Those waves are going to hit you for a few times before you get the hang of it. But I tell you, once you catch the wave, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think you're going to appreciate this part of your life just as much as you appreciated the best parts of your marriage. So
So basically, we need to learn how to swim again, but this time better, more or less.
if you have any questions, if you want to talk about your relationship, you can go to my website at johnsgriffin.com and you can sign up for coaching. Um, I've helped a lot of guys go through this transition, so I am pretty familiar with a lot of the challenges that you're going to be facing. And I think that maybe I can provide you with some insights that'll make it a little bit more smooth moving into this next phase in your life.
Okay, you heard the guy, so he has his courses and stuff on his website. Cool, man. He has really good, interesting views. Um, I think I've said this before. He's going in a bit of an extreme, which unfortunately, you never know. Black Mirror is coming, so we might, if things carry on like this, we might end up a society with no marriages, no long-standing couples, no nothing. Yeah, we shall see. Uh, should we go through a few comments and after that I'm gonna have to go. I wanted to come back. I actually missed doing this. I realized that I started doing this for myself, first of all. And yeah, I'm back. No lights, but I'm back. Just a few comments and we are going. I love being alone by myself. Sure beats being alone with a woman. Ooh, that's true. And more, I was like, okay, so from what I'm talking with friends that have been single for a long period of time, they're all saying about that companionship and things like that. So I'm like, okay, but if you live in the same community or area with your mates, would that work? And that could be a solution. Or like you have in UK, like homes for pensioners and old guys and single guys. We do communities for single guys. We go fishing, hunting, whatever the majority likes there. So there are solutions. There's always a solution. Probably they're gonna find it soon. Uh, I stayed for my two young daughters. If I had left, she would have put our daughters in an orphanage. Oh shit. After 10 years and her securing a boyfriend, she left us. Ah, I got the divorce done as quick as possible and custody of our daughters. I have no regrets. Her living was the best gift she could ever given me. I ended up thinking the same shit in a way. It's not that it says like the way she reacted to the situation that just blew my mind, and I was like, "That's it, that's it. I can't do this shit. This is not normal." Uh, at the beginning, I was angry, I was upset, I was hurt. I was like, now I'm thinking, it's like, wait, I'm just so happy she reacted like that now after 10 years rather than wasting another 10, 20, 30 years of my life. So far, I'm lucky. I have quite a bit of access with my kids, so that's amazing. I managed to move really close by, so again, that's really cool. I can't complain about that. But we shall see what happens in time. The fear of being alone can be paralyzing. Yes, for a lot of people, yes. Having said that, few imagine how extraordinarily liberating being alone can be. Get friends. You don't need loads of friends, and I don't mean social media friends. I don't give a shit. You have 1,000 likes on a freaking picture with a, a croissant. I mean people that you can actually talk to on the phone, people you can meet with, people you can interact with. Or if you are too shy to make friends, just like I said, go to freaking groups, go to fishing competitions, go to the lake and get a dog like this guy. You get interaction with a lot of people if you have a dog, if it makes sense. Hi, John. As a 56-year-old, last night after 37, holy shit, 37 years of a relationship and 28 years of marriage, to the first woman I fell in love with, I'm so sorry, mate, and has sex with. Fudge. Okay, we agreed to divorce. The last 3 years were really hard. My boys of 23 and 20 are in college, and my daughter heads off to college in August. Enough was enough. Thanks for all of your content. It has helped me in my decision to become single and find happiness. All the best, man. As I said, I'm happy she reacted the way she did after 10 years and I didn't stay 37. That's the bottom line. It happens to everyone when it happens. It's really hope everyone gets to enjoy their life as much as they can because it's freaking short and we should be happy. And it's valid for men and for women. I think most of the kind of crap
All right,
should
you
be
guys,
like
that's all I got for
universal.
you today. I certainly hope you've
Cool.
enjoyed this video. If you
I
have,
don't know
please
what
like
that
and
is.
subscribe.
Yeah. Like he
If
said,
you know someone who
like and subscribe. And see you next time. Hopefully tomorrow. You never know. All the best, my friends. How do I end this?